Okay, saya nak cerita sedikit. Lebih kurang 10 tahun dulu, not 10, 15 tahun dulu bila saya first kali balik daripada duduk di UK, saya ada membawa kawan-kawan saya yang bersama dengan saya di UK, Brits lah ya. Mereka datang untuk bercuti di Malaysia dan pada masa itu mereka tengok saya, bila saya bawa mereka pusing-pusing KL dan pusing-pusing Malaysia, dia ingat lagi saya menggunakan kad Touch 'n Go untuk bayar tol. Kemudian bila dah sampai ke contohnya di KL tu, nak masuk parking pun boleh guna kad Touch 'n Go. Masa tu diorang dah macam, wow, in the UK the concept of toll tak exist sampai sekarang. Tapi the fact that you boleh guna satu kad ni untuk itu, untuk ini, untuk naik train, pada masa itu pun diorang dah cukup wow. Okay? Tapi kalau kita fast forward ke 15 tahun kemudian, iaitu sekarang, kad Touch 'n Go dipadankan pula dengan eWallet Touch 'n Go. There is nothing that you cannot do without these two things. Okay? Anda nak pergi mana-mana, you boleh menggunakan eWallet. Saya tak perlu risau tol tak cukup sebab saya punya eWallet Touch 'n Go sentiasa updated sebab saya linkkan dengan bank account saya. Jadi saya tak perlu nak risau nak lalu tol, alamak kad tak ada duit, tak perlu risau. Kemudian lagi satu, kalau saya tertinggal wallet, saya nak pergi beli nasi lemak, senang je, just whip out my mobile phone yang saya letak kat sini. Keluarkan mobile phone, habis. Sebab dia boleh gunakan eWallet Touch 'n Go. Punyalah banyak dia punya benefits eWallet Touch 'n Go ni dan juga dipadankan dengan kad Touch 'n Go. Sampai saya terfikir, bila kami nak fikirkan topik ni, kalau orang nak berniaga pada tahun 2022 ni, betul ke boleh tanpa tunai? Itu persoalan yang bakal kita bincangkan. Dan bersama saya di skrin sekarang ini ialah Ketua Pegawai Komersil Touch 'n Go Digital, saudara Danny Chua. Danny, good morning to you.
Salam sejahtera, good morning to you, Dino.
Yeah, salam sejahtera.
Everybody.
Sorry, I started off dengan a little bit of an anecdote sendiri tadi tu sebab saya excited the prospects of talking about berniaga tanpa tunai ni. So, off the bat, kalau I tanya itu soalan kepada you, boleh tak kalau I nak buka bisnes dan berniaga tanpa tunai? Your jawapan cepat ialah?
Yes, of course you can.
And why?
Hari ini actually in Malaysia, kita semua ada ATM card dengan debit card. Habis kalau you tak guna debit card, we also at Touch 'n Go has enabled even the smallest merchant, buka kedai nasi lemak ke, karipak ke, or even those who sell over Facebook or just WhatsApp ordering, you can pay using eWallet macam Touch 'n Go. And we at Touch 'n Go have the biggest coverage. And we continue to enable peniaga-peniaga yang besar sampai yang small, the smallest trader to be able to accept our wallet. And we have 17 million now people who use Touch 'n Go eWallet. Hopefully we cover everybody who needs to buy anything.
17 million in a country with just slightly over 30 million, you've basically got half the country covered. So your next mission is to cover to tapau the other half of the country lah.
Hopefully.
Okay, alright. So I made to understand that pada pagi ini, Danny, you are going to be sharing a presentation with us that will bring us up to date with where Touch 'n Go Digital is, and also I believe you've got a couple of interesting stories that you're going to share with us, right?
Yes. So please bear with me. I would like to share some update because many of you are Touch 'n Go users. I would like to say that we have grown up and give you some up-to-date. I'll give you some information about how to become a merchant of Touch 'n Go to accept cashless transaction, and then some interesting stories at the end.
Okay, great. Okay, then without further ado, Danny, I pass it over to you. Go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you, Good morning again. I'm Danny Chua from Touch 'n Go Digital. We run the eWallet. Let me just go straight into the presentation so that we can have some questions and answer later. So some update about us. Since we were a brainchild of CIMB Group and Ant Financial that run Alipay, everybody knows Alipay, in November 2017, we started with RFID for toll. And today we are almost 17 million registered users, and we have grown up. Our wallet size is today 20,000 ringgit. So you can actually put as much as 20,000 ringgit in our wallet. So you can buy the smallest things and you can buy the big things as well. What do the almost 17 million users do today? It's quite 50-50 between lelaki dengan perempuan. 60% are the young ones. But more importantly, there are almost over 2 million transactions every day at our merchants. Today in Touch and Go eWallet, you can pay toll using RFID and Pay Direct. You can pay for food. You can do mobile reload and we give you a good price. You can pay your bill, even Tenaga, Telekom Malaysia, DG, Maxis. You can pay all your bills, even council. You can transfer money. So Duit Raya, Chinese New Year, Ang Pao. Actually, in the pandemic, we do a lot of Ang Pao for our people. Today, you can buy car insurance in Touch and Go Digital. We are also the only wallet that you can use when you pay for Apple App Store or Google Play. So we are the only wallet in Malaysia you can do that. Of course, you can do shopping, you can pay for petrol, health and beauty. One thing we are very excited is you can put money into Go Plus in Touch and Go and have interest every day. Every morning you wake up, you dapat interest when you put money into Go Plus. And that is something that we work together with Principal and is fully Sharia compliant. Today, we are number 1 in Malaysia for merchants. So if you become our merchant, you're part of a group of 550,000 merchants acquired by Touch and Go, out of which over 400,000 are SMEs and very small traders, MSMEs as well. Touch and Go can also be used at over 1 million Do It Now QR merchants. And this year, you can use it in Singapore, Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, hopefully, as well. So we are number 1 as merchants. We also work with government over the past year to help people during the Tunai, Penjana, and Belia campaign. And this year, as MOF initiate more this type of campaign, we will be the number 1 participant. And to help SME, last year we worked together with MDAC and MOF, and one of the campaign was to give 20 ringgit straight away back to our merchant when they become new merchants. And we did it, we did over 80,000 actually merchants during the period. And we also embraced the national QR together with PayNet by Bank Negara. And today, if you become a Touch and Go merchant, you can accept payment from not just Touch and Go eWallet, but other e-wallet macam Boost, Grab, Shopee as well. So we are very open to help our SMEs. Now, how do you become our merchant? On the left, if you're online, you can, in an app, you can accept Touch and Go. If you are using a website, you can accept Touch and Go e-wallet. If you're just a shop, you can have a static QR. You can also go through a terminal that accept credit card that also accept our e-wallet. And we have business tools that allow you to easily send a payment link to a merchant as well. So please contact us if you need to know more about this. We are very excited. Last year we launched, it's called Instant Onboarding. To become Touch and Go e-wallet merchant, actually now it's only 3 steps in the app and it's instant onboarding. Let me just show you a video of how easy that is. Itu saja, 3 steps dapat Touch and Go e-wallet QR dengan Do It Now QR at the same time. If you are a SSM, a registered company. But if you're an individual trader, someone who's selling cake from home, atau fashion from home, or a small store, you can use your individual account to also become our individual trader. And this is something that is almost unique to Touch and Go. 2 steps. See, 2 steps, you can become our merchant. And as we work further with the bigger brands, and we try and bring our merchants into our app, so the 17 million users can easily see the brands as well. So we call it a mini program. Today you will see T-Life, Klook, Mr. DIY, Family Mart just launched in our app. So you can become part of that, or you can work with our partners to indirectly become in Touch and Go eWallet ecosystem as well. Please contact us if you need to know more. I won't go into the details. So what it is Touch and Go become your partner to bring consumers to your business and using data to help you market your business as well. So not just about payment, tanpa cash, tapi dapat marketing mileage together with us. So let me share some cerita-cerita with our partners, right? So we use Go Hunter to enable brands to get vouchers. So when our consumer, when you are a participant in Go Hunter, our consumer dapat your voucher, they will automatically go to your shop. So we ran a campaign last year. We had 25 million transactions and 50,000 merchants benefited from it. So do contact us if you need to know more. And these are the campaigns that a lot of you see. How we keep customers going back, not to just Touch and Go eWallet, but to you as the business and partners of Touch and Go. And this, we also push digital marketing for our partners together. And these are some of the ads we did late last year, together with all the campaign of 20%, RM9 off, cashback, itu semua lah. You know, and these are some of the startup company from Malaysia that we are helping to push. And these are some of the current campaign. You will see GSC, Watson, My News, 7-Eleven, Berniaga National. You can pay your bill and get cashback, and even Google Play and Apple as well. Final few stories. So this is one of the new one that we did. We realized that a lot of people still like to do cash on delivery bila they order barang. So but in the pandemic, it's not the safest thing. So we enable abang-abang FedEx and other delivery to carry a tag. So bila instead of taking cash, dia tunjuk cash, customer boleh scan Touch and Go eWallet and it becomes cashless. So it's safer for the customer and safer for abang-abang yang delivery goods to you. Next story, a video of during the pandemic, one of our merchants, me Pablo, very, very gracefully accepted the invitation to play a video to share their experience.
Hi, Mr. Chua. Sorry, I had to cut you off in the middle of that video over there because that video really does look really, really interesting. Cuma, we can't hear the sound. So if I could just ask you to reshare that slide, but with the sound enabled from your computer, please.
Okay. The previous video, did it have sound?
No, no,
Ada?
none of the videos.
Oh,
None of the
sorry.
videos. But no, not a problem. But then we could read what was on the slides. But this one, because he's bercerita, so we wanna get the full immersive
Restart video,
experience.
yeah?
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you could just ensure that you enable sound, computer sound, from your presentation. Let's try that.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
I really apologize. I thought we
No
had the
worries, no
sound.
worries. This is normal work from home kind of hurdles that we have here.
Okay. All good?
Okay, we can hear something now. Okay, great.
Ready,
Okay, let's
Chef?
have the slide back on. There we go.
Used to work in a commercial kitchen, and then after that I opened my own company, which is a catering business. And then due to PKP, kita punya business down lah. So after that, I terpaksa cari cara yang cepat untuk tanggung my family. So that's where Mi Pablo stall come out. Sebelum ni saya pernah kerja dengan few hotels and restaurant, juga dengan airline catering, offshore catering. Saya pernah run a few central kitchen, juga pernah own 2 restoran lah sebelum ni. Kita baru start dalam 2 bulan. Actually Mi Pablo ni dia dah ada food page, so our food page is about 1 year already. But due to PKP, I buat page tu jadi I punya main business, so I buka stall ni. So we cook our noodles by using our page lah. So our brand name is Mi Pablo. Nama Pablo ni bagi I sangat strong, and our product is actually for noodles. So dia jadilah Mi Pablo. Kita dapat Tak Cenggo team datang approach kita, cakap pasal you can go cashless, and kita sangat teruja lah untuk pakai Tak Cenggo eWallet ni. Dengan pandemik sekarang, especially dekat Bukit Jelutong ni, it's a red zone. So kita lagi prefer orang bayar guna Tak Cenggo eWallet lah. Lagi senang nak handle sebab kita tak ada masalah untuk duit tu akan short ke, and duit tu akan directly masuk dalam account kita within 1 working day, which is very very impressive. And other than that, it's all on the pandemic punya side lah. Kita dapat control COVID-19 ni dengan menggunakan eWallet. So we prefer cashless than paying by Tunai. On the merchant dashboard, very convenient, sangat senang. Orang yang buta IT pun saya rasa sekejap je dia boleh cekap lah gunakan dashboard Tak Cenggo ni. And notification dia sangat jelas, dia punya interface dia pun sangat mudah, dan it's very convenient. Hopefully lagi ramai lagi yang akan go for eWallet lah. Hai, nama saya Chef Bob, saya pemilik Mi Pablo. Jom enjoy lebih banyak ekstra dan bayar menggunakan Tak Cenggo eWallet.
Itu dia cerita Pablo, Mi Pablo. We are very proud of him. Sorry. So, one last story, Dino. This is fresh, right? So recently kita banjir kan, ada flood, and my CEO actually went to his favorite nasi lemak store recently and dapat gambar ni. Ini memang tangkap from Ignatius Ong, kita punya CEO. And he realized cerita Bob ni, bila banjir, rumah dia kena, the store also hancur. So but tahniahlah, he came back and reopened his store and managed to take his eWallet punya QR code and continue dengan business dia. So he cerita he lost a lot of things, but he can continue because he went cashless. So cash tak hilang because cash dalam account dia, bank dia, and he managed to continue their business bila dia boleh restart. So I'm very happy to share one of the good stories in a tragedy. And today my team actually this morning just update, dia dapat QR code barulah, he and his wife. So we hope to support him. Dia in Setia Alam, nasi lemak Bob sangat sedap, according to my CEO. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation.
Thank you so much, Danny. Very, very interesting. It's a good combination of ada banyak useful knowledge. That means actual actionables that our attendees can go ahead and take action on and see how the Touch and Go eWallet can fit into their business. But also I love the fact that you ended it with the anecdotes, especially with nasi lemak Bob. Apa ni, tapi kalau I lah nasi lemak Bob tu, you know, yang gambar QR code tu memang I akan ambil benda tu, I akan frame, I akan tampal dekat dinding, because that is a reminder of how resilient we are as a peniaga, but also how resilient the entire peniaga community is, supported by people like you guys from Touch and Go. Sebab it truly enables a different mindset. Sebab kalau tidak, macam Danny cakap tadi, you know, banjir ada kemungkinan you akan hilang segalanya, termasuklah duit, kan? Especially duit lah. That is the worst thing that could happen, especially kalau macam contohnya semua you are a small retailer dan you berniaga nasi lemak atau apa-apa, then you ambil duit semua tu and then you mungkin pergi ke bank sekali seminggu contohnya, and then you letak semua duit tu kat rumah, and then sekali something like this happen, banjir yang begitu teruk.
Yes.
So, you know, it's good for nasi lemak Bob that dia menggunakan transaction cashless dengan Touch and Go tu. So, duit tak kacau. Biarlah kena banjir, alhamdulillah. The thing is, his money is safe in the bank because, you know, he's using a cashless transaction. What did Bob say? Bob lah nama dia kan. Apa yang Bob kata when you guys approach him and told them that you are going to feature that story in our presentation today?
Well, Bob is a very real person, Dino. So his reaction is, yes, please help me tell the story, so that other people can do what I did. Dia cakap nasib baik Bob ada QR code and went cashless. And secondly, he said, please tell everybody about nasi lemak Bob lah. So there more people will come and makan. But memang sedap, according to my CEO. I have to go down and try.
Where is the location of that place?
Setia Alam.
Setia Alam. Sebab gambar tu
Yes.
macam zoom in sangat. Kalau zoom out sikit, kita dah boleh nampak dah location dekat mana tu. Okay. Alright. So now let's talk a little bit. Jom kita sembang sikit pasal apakah yang menantikan the peniaga who decides to go ahead and menggunakan this opportunity, this technology, whatever that you want to call it, this new mode of doing business ni, what awaits them. I understand that, you know, at the beginning just now you mentioned that Touch and Go is already in the lives of at least 17 million Malaysians, right? So my first question is, what is the hurdle from Touch and Go's perspective to reach out to more people, especially when we're talking about the adaptation of the menggunakan the Touch and Go eWallet as a transaction mode for businesses?
I think we look at our business from the consumer's point of view and from peniaga lah, from business. And it's actually a circular relationship. Right? If consumers still insist on paying cash, then it's hard to go 100% cashless. Especially, I think urban in cities and all that, there's no excuse lah kalau you're not going to cash, because most merchants would have gone at least one way or another cashless. You know, but we still try and solve the problem of why do you want to use cashless from a consumer's point of view. So in the beginning of the presentation, we try and make the wallet not just for occasional usage. Every day you need to buy food, you need to pay for utility, top up prepaid, or even put money into an account that can give you a return every day. So on a consumer side, kita promote macam tu lah, everyday wallet. You know, sampai you can actually go out of your house with only your IC and your phone, you're good. You know, so but we acknowledge that as we go more and more into the rural area, there will be needs that we have to address. You know, also about mobile coverage and all these things. But on the business side, that is more important. You know, actually, we realize that some business still accept cash because bila dia orang beli barang from their supplier, the supplier still need to accept cash. And when you're a small store, beli telur, beli sayur, beli kecap and things like that. So now we address the problem we call up the value chain. We make sure that the delivery guy, the supplier also embrace cashless, so that the retailer, bila bayar goods and services, can also pay using cashless, so they don't need to keep cash for themselves. So these are how we look at things. And moving ahead, we try and help our merchant. Like I said, we promote people to go to their shop, but we also look at what else do they need. Do they need cash flow loan, or do they need to use their money to do other things like investment? But that comes in a deeper relationship when we have the merchants.
The actual kick-off cost to adopt eWallet as a method of payment is apa sebenarnya?
Zero.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought.
Totally free and totally instant. Masuk touch and go eWallet, tekan merchant, fill up 1, 2 step atau 3 step depending on your business. And if nothing is wrong with your background, instantly you are a merchant, and tanpa commission fee for SME merchant at the moment.
Okay, so that leads me to, of course, probably soalan yang paling penting bila kita bercakap dengan mana-mana businessman pun, at the end of the day, apa yang dia bawa masuk, keluar daripada bank dan letak dalam poket, contohnya. So, in terms of the actual take home, the money that is involved, fees, can you take us through that?
It's for SME, then accept static QR today. You can ask all of them, zero. So you jual RM10, RM10 akan masuk bank account the next working day. And we are working towards the money going to your account the same day. We have to continue working with our bank partners to enable that.
Okay, then what about macam kadang-kadang kita menggunakan touch and go untuk bayar parking contohnya, alright, and you will see that some places will add on a touch and go surcharge. Now, what's the story there?
I think that is a legacy in our industry. When we first went to the parking operators and the building owners, the surcharge came in, if I believe, is due to the infrastructure cost at that time. You will see today more and more. In fact, there will be very few places that still charge surcharge. Itu surcharge is going to be a thing of the past. We are actively working with the operator dengan the building owner to say tak payahlah charge surcharge. And I think now very few places still charge the surcharge.
Okay, so that's really good. Now the other question is competition. I can't believe I'm actually going to be asking this, tapi in terms of competition kan, kalau you pergi nasi lemak Bob punya kedai tadi pun you dah nampak dah. Katakanlah you ada satu meja, you letak you nasi lemak, tapi kemudian you ada QR code ini, QR code itu, QR code ini, QR code itu dan macam-macam lagi. Itu belum lagi nak letak tanda harga ke apa. So why is there so many different kinds of QRs available on a single table when you go to an average merchant? Yeah, let's start with that first.
Okay, so to answer your question is because Bank Negara dengan PayNet also realized this problem, and we embrace that it's not a problem, but it's actually something that we have to solve. Kan? So that's why Bank Negara came out with the national QR, the yang pink itu, that say do it now QR.
Yep.
All of us now give a pink do it now QR to the merchant. Now that QR you can pay using Boost, Grab, Maybank, MAE, and other bank apps. So it's a national QR. Tak payahlah 5-6 QR. Satu QR you can also accept payment from other QR.
Satu QR tu sebab kadang-kadang kan you see the QR tapi atas tu ada bank A, sebelah dia QR ada bank B. So maknanya actually it's the same QR.
It's the same national standard. Just that if Touch and Go give you the QR, we put branding on top, say that we are the one who gave you the PayNet punya do it now QR lah. But other wallets can scan and the money will still go into your account and it's still zero cost today. No difference. But we are in the beginning of that migration together with Berniaga dengan PayNet. That's why you see people with 2 or 3 QR. But as we go along, hopefully with the success of the program, there will be less QR, or you only actually need 1 or 2 lah. Now, why Touch and Go still put our branding is also because we do promosi dengan program, dengan MDEC, dengan merchant and all that. So we want to make sure that our branding is still there, so you recognize that that is a Touch and Go punya merchant. Now back to your beginning of question, who is our competitor? Actually, the competitor is cash. So if you check out Grab,
not any other, cashless payment methods, but cash itself.
Yes, I mean, as Touch and Go eWallet, we look at it that way because, yes, there are other eWallet in the market, but cash today is still more than cashless in Malaysia society. Sampai hari ini, more people pay by cash than cashless, be it card or eWallet. So I think the mentality of eWallet player should not be who is our competitor in terms of eWallet. It should be we should tackle how to get the rakyat to migrate from cash to cashless. And the rakyat include consumer and Berniaga at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So sebenarnya kan bila kita fikirkan untuk for a business, especially for SMEs to adopt cashless transaction ni, memang actually it's a no-brainer lah, sebab dia punya adaptation cost is next to nothing. You hanya memerlukan sekeping kertas di mana QR Pay itu is displayed. You sudah ada mobile phone that you can do all the transactions. So sebenarnya it's a no-brainer. Kita hanya tunggu untuk convince orang yang ia selamat dan ia boleh digunakan, right? Tapi okay, so sekarang ni kalau saya tanyakan, if I ask, when we compare ourselves against other countries in the same region, in terms of menggunakan cashless technology seperti eWallet, Touch and Go ini for business transactions, where are we compared to the rest?
I'm very proud to say, other than the island down south, we are more of a cashless society than in ASEAN, the rest of the ASEAN country. Also, the fact that we are embracing both the technology that comes from the West, which is a card-based technology, and we are learning and embracing very quickly technology that comes from the East, which is like say China and all that, which is the QR code and the eWallet concept. So if you ask me, we are doing very well. However, there is still room to improve, and nothing more like the consumer when you reach retail to say it's safer and more convenient to use a cashless like eWallet than cash, and then automatically the retailer, the merchant will say, yes, I need to accept cashless because my customer is telling me that they don't want to pay cash. So it's a cycle, that we have to go through.
Faham, okay. And then, so that's, against the regional players. So it's great that we are far ahead in terms of cashless. Tapi when we're talking about cashless, dan saya sekarang ni akan membuat comparison dengan masa saya duduk di luar negara, di mana bila saya sebut cashless, it literally means cashless, cardless, nothing. Saya hanya perlu keluar rumah dengan telefon saya, di mana contohnya di UK, inilah peranti yang saya akan gunakan. This is the device I'm going to use to pay for my train, for my groceries. Nak pergi apa-apa, nak tengok wayang, everything. It's tap, tap, tap. Sebab saya telah meletakkan kad saya di dalam phone. Okay? So I've already registered my bank card with the phone. So that's it. I can just use my phone to make payments. So do you think Malaysia is going to go down that route? And if it does, what is the impact on Touch and Go?
So I don't have the right answer today. As I mentioned before, my point before is we truly in Malaysia are embracing technology from the West, which is exactly what you just described. Using contactless and all that. And we do have contactless here, Touch and Go card, Visa, MasterCard, even your debit card boleh guna kan. Well, we also look at the recent development from a QR base, still using the phone, and we know that actually that is a lower entry for merchant, for business.
So price-wise, it's cheaper for businesses to adopt that versus actually getting a terminal, contohnya.
Yes, it's instant, it's cost zero, and using the technology behind it, you can also send, whether it's a QR or a link via WhatsApp or when you sell on Facebook to your customer, they can click or scan and pay. It's very, very quick, and as I said, cost zero. The Western way of using a contactless card or phone NFC requires higher cost of entry for the entire, for whether the bank or the player like us to enable the merchant. That will exist. So the market will coexist. Your phone and your card will have technology that embrace both contactless, which is primarily a Visa, MasterCard technology, and scanning or sending a link and all that. So we are very fortunate that we started at the right time where both are available to us, and players like us will embrace both so that the consumer convenient towards what you just said. Just carry your phone and walk out the door and you can actually get through your day.
It's interesting that the QR technology is actually more predominantly used here, the Asia, as compared to any other parts of the world, right? So in terms of how Touch and Go is doing it with the QR, we are in the right place. If you go to Europe, you go to US, maybe not so much, but here you can go far with your QR code, especially with using eWallets like Touch and Go and all that. Okay, saya nak iklan sekejap. I can see on my prompter here on my left that there are already ada beberapa orang yang dah tanyakan soalan. Jadi saya ingin menjemput anda untuk tanya soalan. Inilah dia peluang kita, ada Chief Commercial Officer of Touch and Go di sini. You all nak tanya, nak ganyan dengan soalan-soalan you tentang penggunaan ataupun adaptation ataupun semua. Inilah peluang untuk you tanyakan soalan itu. Jadi jangan lupa untuk masukkan soalan itu di ruangan chat box di bawah. Ataupun menggunakan fungsi Q&A, dan kami akan pull up the questions kejap lagi, and we will try to get those questions answered by Danny. So please go ahead and ask those questions too. Tapi also Danny, maybe this would be a very opportune time for me to, because I was just reading the news reports this morning about what's coming up for Touch and Go, and there is something that I'm super excited about, but I'll let you tell the story. But yeah, tell us what is lying ahead for Touch and Go, especially Touch and Go Digital in the next let's say in the next month, in the next year, and also so on and so forth.
I can only share today what we are allowed to share, because kadang-kadang banyak, a lot of things that we want to do is also subject to regulatory approval. The immediate one that I think we are excited about is tomorrow at 10 p.m. because 10 malam bukan pagi lah, jangan too excited like some of my staff, tomorrow at 10 p.m. Semua plus highway, including North-South Highway, Elite dengan NKVE will turn on RFID. Now we've been waiting for this because RFID is already at a lot of our intercity punya, so you don't have to use a card to pay for toll anymore. From tomorrow 10 p.m. onwards. So it's something we are very excited. We have to thank Ministry of Works, MHA and Plus, and Touch and Go Group together to make this happen. It's not an easy thing to do on the technology side, but finally we are reaching that point. We continue to improve. So please let us know your comment. As we grow up, we have to learn and we will have to improve. The other things that will come this
Nakwan,
year.
admission. The most excited about this development. Seriously, I hate the fact that you have to sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes you have to wind the window down and touch the card against the reader. So, Danny, your next mission is to go ahead and convince the highways to have more RFID lanes. That would be brilliant. Really, really good. Because at the moment, most of the highways only have one, maximum two, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the next. So if you are working for the Highway Commission or if you're working for Plus, okay, this is my clarion call to you. Add on more RFID lanes in your highways. We would be really appreciative of that. Okay, Danny, next development. Go on.
So the next development for us is to continue to offer consumer and merchant more services that's relevant to them every day. So this year, you will start to see more financial products. Today we have Go Plus yang you boleh dapat is Sharia compliant, that you can get a return every day. You can pay for your car insurance, paling mudah from Touch and Go Digital, and it's very, very fast to get your car insurance here. We are starting to have other insurance product like Wallet Safe. So RM1 dapat insurance for your wallet, as well as some life product as well with COVID in mind. So you will see us growing up more and more to offer you more everyday financial product. For our merchants, we will continue our coverage, local, online, offline, rural area, also overseas as well, so that our consumer, everywhere they go, everything they want to do, they can use the wallet. We recently bring on Tenaga, thank you TNB, into our wallet. So today, actually, I can hardly think of any bills that you need to pay that you cannot pay using the wallet. And we always give back. So we always give cash back, and even if you do bills, you do prepaid every month, every day, we give cash back and all that. So this is how we grow. We bring more and more use case to you every day as a merchant or as a consumer.
It's super easy. I love the fact that it's becoming so much easier to get your transactions done. Kita pergi daripada suatu ketika dahulu di mana kita kena fikir I nak kena pergi sini untuk bayar bil dan untuk beli itu beli ini. Kemudian kita pergi, okay, next level ialah okay, kita online. Okay, sekarang kita kena, but still online pun you kena duduk, you kena dedikasikan sedikit masa untuk okay, sekarang aku nak bayar semua bil, kena klik sini bayar, klik situ bayar, klik. But then now it's literally you can just e-wallet your way through everything, right? So that's really, really good. Okay, Danny, I think we have about 10 minutes left. So ada beberapa soalan yang sudah pun ditanyakan oleh penonton kita. I wanna go ahead and try to get as many of those answered as possible. Okay, kita mulakan soalan daripada Wan Sofia, Wan Ahmad Kamil. Soalan yang yang ditanyakan ialah, how is the adaptation of Touch and Go e-wallet among elderly street food vendors?
We have to say that actually it's better than we expected. One thing, a blessing from the pandemic is even more elderly people now know how to scan a QR. Right? Because QR is not just about payment now. You masuk kedai, you pergi building, or every day, even you take a Grab, you have to scan a QR untuk check in. So the habit of using your phone to scan a QR code accelerated during the COVID pandemic. So our elderly merchants, as our team approached them, also now recognize that they understand what it means by somebody scanning a QR to do something. We're not saying it's 100%, but it's getting much better. And pakcik-pakcik, bila dia adopt QR ni, actually they become a very strong supporter, because they yang explain to kawan-kawan and their family to in their way explain to them that they should do it. Actually, it's a very good phenomena that we are seeing today.
Okay, that's really, really good. Yeah, hopefully more and more of our older generation to tak takut lah. I know a lot of people now, especially I think, come to think of it, because of COVID-19, the acceptance of technology is a little bit accelerated, especially amongst the older generation. Sebab kenapa? Sebab sekarang pergi mana-mana kena MySejahtera. Okay, so kena MySejahtera. So nak tak nak, mereka perlu menggunakan telefon, kan? So bila alang-alang dah berani menggunakan MySejahtera, dan mungkin selepas ini lebih ramai yang berani menggunakan eWallet, especially amongst the peniaga-peniaga. Sebab selalunya peniaga-peniaga yang older generation makanan dia sedap. So we wanna make sure that they don't miss out on the business. Okay, soalan kedua, actually Sofia ni dia tapau banyak soalan. So the next question is how to persuade them to go fully cashless. Oh, I think we've already spoken about that tadi. And has it shown that adopting cashless has increased revenue or sales for sellers? So, okay, so maybe this is an interesting one. Question number 3. Has it shown that adopting cashless has increased revenue or sales for sellers?
Our data show that after you accepted cashless, and while you're still accepting cash, most of the time, the cashless transaction is a bigger average ticket amount than cash. Sebab bila you pakai card ke e-wallet, you feel that you don't have to take out as much cash, you buy more. So from a business point of view, the data does show that. On top of that, as I mentioned earlier, players e-wallet like Touch and Go, we always promote our merchants when we can. To the consumer. So hopefully we bring more traffic to the store. So bring more traffic to the store, and because of cashless, there's an increase of average spend per consumer. We would like to believe that is definitely positive.
Okay. Right, moving on to the next question. Ada satu soalan daripada Aizat sebenarnya. Are there any fees of using Touch and Go merchant platform for individual traders? But I think we've already addressed this earlier tadi. Another question is from Amy. Can I know why certain toll doesn't accommodate auto deduction from Touch and Go e-wallet? Instead, we still need to reload manually or Touch and Go using Touch and Go cards at the kiosk or etc. So I think there's a difference also from we understand that there are several like you mentioned tadi, ada beberapa toll yang belum lagi adopt actually it's just one toll provider lah, just the one main one, right, yang belum lagi adopt, but that's going to be remedied soon. Daripada pukul berapa? Pukul 10 malam esok kan? 10 malam esok.
So RFID akan turn on, and if you expect another product called Pay Direct, where you tap the card, the money come from the wallet, akan datang juga in 2022. That's what I hear from Plus, and because Plus is the biggest operator in Malaysia, some of this on the technology side, I think it just takes a little bit longer, but we are all improving together as we grow up.
But actually, no, I want to add on to that. But actually, I have faced this situation before, and I remember thinking at that particular time, what is the impact on businesses? So, the situation I faced was, when I went to go and lalu, I think at that time, the toll that I lalu to, the RFID lane was closed. I think it was being serviced. So I just whipped out my Touch and Go card lah to pay using the Touch and Go lane. But it was still going to deduct from my Touch and Go e-wallet, right? Because it was a Plaza toll yang memang e-wallet enabled. Tetapi I think at that particular time, it deducted from my card. So instead of my e-wallet. So I'm thinking perhaps sometimes, I mean every single business will probably have a service downtime sedikit anyway, right? So I remember thinking pada masa itu, what happens, katakanlah I nak menggunakan e-wallet I untuk membayar something, not toll but untuk membayar nasi lemak contohnya, okay? I know I have money in my e-wallet tetapi I tidak ada reception. How does that work?
The reception from a consumer point of view when you're paying for toll, actually it doesn't exist. So even if your phone is offline, you pakai RFID or Pay Direct, it will work. So Touch and Go card or RFID doesn't depend on consumer side having reception. So the technology does support that. We know that in occasion that you mentioned, atau in rural area, sometimes that happens, right?
Yeah,
You know,
but that
so
one
don't worry.
itu lain cerita. So that one we
Yeah.
already know the infrastructure. But what about the traders too?
So, untuk scanning QR code, the consumer do need to have at least a mobile coverage. You know, that is mobile payment lah. So that we know real time that the transaction is completed. So from a merchant point of view, don't worry. When the transaction is scanned and successful, and your customers show you, that is good, because we ensure that it is complete. Actually, I think we are one of the only e-wallet is if you go to a big merchant whereby they use their POS to scan your phone to accept payment. You know, your phone doesn't have to be instantly online as well in that situation. But most of the time, for business, your consumer phone has to be online.
Okay. So for smaller businesses, you need the payer phone to have reception. Sebab dia perlu online. But for big businesses, the payee system is good enough to acknowledge the fact that the payer tu ada cash ke tidak, despite the fact the payer tidak ada line. Betul?
Yes, betul.
I see. Okay, so it's a different service level di situ. Faham.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. All right. We are going to end this session with this comment. It's a comment. It's not a question, but a comment that was shared by one of our attendees. Are you ready for this? I love this. If you can flash it on screen, friend. Fazirah binti Abdullah kata, Mr. Danny Chan, Mr. Danny Chua lah, a very good and informative presentation talk. Wait for me, yeah. I'm in. I'm registering for my dropship. No shop, no staff business with Touch 'n Go eWallet. Kudos to you and your team. Keep up the good work. Malaysia will go cashless one day soon. I love Fazira's enthusiasm. Yeah.
Azira, instant approval. I hope you're successful, and I will tell my team to look out for your business.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, Fazira melambangkan, most of us who's really excited to go cashless so that we don't have to worry about getting our hands dirty with grubby banknotes. That's brilliant. Danny, thank you so much for your time. It's been a very informative session. We really appreciate it, and we wish you the very best of luck. And I'm sure ada attendees kita, if you want to reach out to Mr. Danny Chua ataupun the Touch 'n Go team, the Touch 'n Go app itself is very, very interactive in terms of answering your queries and stuff like that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Danny, thank you so much, and we will see you again soon on Astro AWANI. But for now, that's it from Mr. Danny Chua on the Pentas Reboot Now. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.